Greetings, I'm Tim of Govberg, and welcome to the World of Bremont. Today, I'll be your guide to the usage, care, and maintenance of your Bremont Supermarine S300 dive watch. It's important to note that this is an automatic winding timepiece that can nevertheless be manually wound should it run down. First, take the crown and thread it out in a counterclockwise direction. You'll feel it pop. Now it's in the first position where you wind it. Without pressing it in, we don't want to engage the threads of the stem sleeve. We just want to wind the watch, turn it 20 to 30 turns in a clockwise direction. This will be sufficient to start the beating of the balance, and you'll note the advance of the seconds hand on the dial. Now that the watch is wound sufficiently to beat, you can put it on the wrist after setting, and the natural course of kinetic energy will continue to wind the watch. Should you wish to manually wind it up to its maximum rated power reserve of 42 hours, simply continue winding. Because of the bridle style mainspring, which slips to relieve excess tension, you cannot accidentally overwind this watch. However, you can listen for a click from within the watch. It'll be subtle and faint. That's your signal that the bridle has slipped and the watch is now fully wound. At this point, you can use two features that allow more precise setting of the time and date. The first is stop seconds. You'll note the seconds hand advances until I pull the crown all the way out. This will be 2 detents out from the winding position, and it can be used to synchronize the watch precisely to a known accurate reference time. To clarify, this is the setting mode as well as stop seconds. So the best way to use this to synchronize to the second against an accurate time reference is to go online, open up an atomic clock, and then wait for the seconds hand to reach the index at 12. When the seconds hand reaches the index at 12, then you pull the crown out to the second position, and we halt the beat of the balance. We advance the minute hand 1 minute to the next nearest minute against the reference time. Wait for the reference time to catch up to the second, then press the crown back in. Now you've synchronized your watch. Keep in mind that it's often impossible to discern AM or PM when a watch is stopped, so it's best to advance the hour hand and minute hand through one full day cycle to watch the changeover of the day to know what period of the day you're viewing AM or PM. Once you've done that, set precisely against a reference time and use the quick set to rapidly correct the date of the watch. Now, the quick set function, which is an intermediate position of the crown, allows you to rapidly cycle the date. It operates in a counterclockwise direction and can be useful if the watch is sat for a long period of time or if you encounter an irregular length month. However, it must be used with some caution as the watch is engaged in an automatic changeover of the date between 8 p.m. and 3 a.m. Don't use the quick set during that period, as attempting to quick set while the watch is engaged in its own automatic date jump can crash the movement and cause damage. Now, once you've set the time and you've set the date, thread the crown in, apply light pressure so that the threads of the stem tube grab, and you'll know when the watch has its crown fully screwed in because it'll halt, it'll offer resistance. Stop right there, you're good to go. However, it's important to note with respect to water resistance, magnetism, and shock that the owner does have to exercise some forbearance in the use of the watch to get maximum life from the timepiece. With water, the number one threat to a timepiece, it's important to remember that regardless of the hermeticity of the timepiece, leather, a natural porous material, is never water resistant. So always put the watch on a textile or rubber strap prior to aquatic activity. Furthermore, this watch is water resistant to 300 meters, which is sufficient for professional diving. However, that resistance is attained with the crown screwed in entirely and flush to the case. Keep the crown screwed in and don't use any of its functions, winding or setting, while the watch is either submerged or when there's water on the case. Even some water between the crown and the case can penetrate the case to catastrophic effects if the crown is used when water is present on the flanks. Therefore, remember, you can help to avoid accidental drownings of your watch. Disuse the crown when wet. Furthermore, water resistance, unlike mechanical specifications, is not a static feature of the timepiece. Given age and distance from the last service, lubricants will dry up, seals will age and degrade, and the water resistance of the watch will ebb. Therefore, Bremont recommends minimally every 24 months having the watch water tested at an authorized Bremont service center to ensure that original factory rated hermeticity is retained. Now, with respect to magnetism, it is a ubiquitous threat. It affects the watch by altering the magnetic properties of the ferrous hairspring that lies at the heart of the timepiece. Now, if the hairspring's magnetized, the watch will keep erratic time. Therefore, keep the watch secure from exceptionally powerful magnetic fields created by MRI equipment, subwoofers and speakers, high-powered wiring looms, the closures of purses and wallets, as well as refrigerator doors. If you suspect that the watch has become magnetized due to erratic timekeeping, take it to an authorized Bremont service center where equipment is available to quickly and easily demagnetize your hairspring. Shock, however, has more threatening consequences and more permanent consequences to your timepiece, not so easily reversed in the worst cases. Therefore, because of the delicate nature of a fine mechanical movement, Bremont recommends that during concussive activities the watch be disused. These activities include ATV riding, mountain biking, firearms marksmanship, golf, batting, anything including tennis, that could result in great concussive or high momentary G-shocks to the movement, should result in disuse of the timepiece prior. Finally, Bremont recommends that every 5 to 7 years a full overhaul be obtained for each timepiece. Now, this overhaul includes everything from replacement of the strap if necessary, to cosmetic reconditioning of the case to factory specifications, restoration of water resistance, and disassembly, cleaning, oiling, reassembly, and adjustment of the movement. Essentially, a trip to the spa for your timepiece. Do this exclusively at authorized Bremont service centers, as these agencies solely have access to the trained personnel, equipment, and tools, as well as original factory replacement parts, to preserve the value of your watch as an investment and as an instrument. Moreover, only these agencies are able to back any work or labor invested with a Bremont original factory service warranty. To learn more about the proper usage, care, and maintenance of this or any Bremont premium timepiece, text, call, or email our associates at govbergwatches.com.